I know. I loved how you did that. The behind the scenes are always so much fun. I love this.
As much as we use this platform, it's almost like an adventure every single time. Like, oh, I learned something new today.
Yes, absolutely. So I love the little twang. I think I'm going to require for you to cue us in behind the scenes after that. But anyway, guys, welcome to another episode of the Influencers Connection Corner. Let me tell you, happy Saturday. Yay! I'm
Yay.
super, super, super excited. Let us know where you're tuning in. We always like to say hi to you in the mornings and Saturday mornings. I know it's Social Saturday. And, on LinkedIn, we use it as an opportunity to continue that network, the networking, because it is a networking party. It's like 24/7, isn't it, Tia?
Oh my goodness gracious. Yes, it is. And
Oh my
what's so funny is that like you can almost have too much fun with a networking party, if you will. You know what I mean? But hey,
Yes. Yes.
I think life is too short not to have too much fun. So I say go for it.
I love it. I love the spirit. So, guys, grab your coffee. You're in for an amazing, amazing, amazing show and episode. We've been looking forward to this because next weekend we're going to be at the Abilities Expo here in Houston. And so we're going to talk all about it. But before we dive into it, so how about we roll that intro, girl, and let's get to it.
Let's do it.
Welcome to the Influencers Connection Corner.
Hey, hey, hey. And dance, and dance, and dance. Oh, poor Michelle. She's probably back at the backstage looking, oh my God, what did I get myself into? We're the fun crew.
I was not told that this would be a teenager's like show on YouTube.
No. Hey, 80s, 70s, and 80s babies here. So,
Woo,
we bring the party for sure. Some call us old, others call us ancient, but we will never fizzle out. You like that fizz? Yeah, I am
Yeah.
definitely bringing. I drank too much coffee today. Cheers.
Cheers. Look, it's
Mhm.
one of those days, girl. I'm right there with you.
It is definitely. It's been quite a week, let me tell you. Just being under the weather, it does not help when you have so many projects going, at the same time. However, when the passion is there, you definitely find the energy to rise to the challenge. So it's been one of those weeks where I'm like, oh my God, the only thing I want to do is in bed. Like, I just want to be in bed. Allergies, getting sick, whatever is going out there, guys, just stay safe. Do get plenty of rest because I know that helps. I'm still not 100% back. However,
I
I'm
need
super.
seriously, like, are you sure? Did you get tested? Because okay, so what happened was you did a good deed, and thank you, if we can, because let's catch up a little bit. There's a reason why it's been 4 weeks since we've talked to you. Is 2 weeks ago you were
Yes, we were serving and we're continuing to do it on a weekly basis. However, I went out to Kerrville and Leander, fortunately, where the floods happened, the 4th of July floods there at the Hill Country. So it's been quite a month of activity, of helping out, of reaching out, and just, dealing with all the volunteers, feeding the volunteers out there, the first responders. So thank you out of the kindness of my heart and everyone who's been involved. Chef Lena and Lena's Foundation has been leading the rally. We've been going out there weekly. However, the first week we went out, it's like full force. I went out to Leander, and man, when I tell you that it was quite an eye-opening experience and a humbling experience indeed. But after that, it's just like my body went into like just a phase where it was too much. It was burning out, and yeah, it was like
I
you need
mean,
to lay down.
you you are the perfect example of you cannot give from an empty well. And that's why I brought it up, you guys, because seriously, you've been duking this out for the last 2 weeks. Now, heaven knows, from just a pure scientific perspective, you probably picked up a bug somewhere. I mean, because that flood was no joke. I mean, for those that may or may not know, I mean, it was catastrophic down,
Yes,
down in central
yes,
Texas. And
yes.
you just for the last 2 weeks, I'm like, girl, because you're like, it's allergies. I'm like, 2 weeks ain't allergies like what you're doing. Like I'm like, you picked up something. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
kudos to you, and thank you to all the first responders. Thank you to all the people who are still working on cleaning up this horrible situation in Central Texas. So
Yeah.
Lena's Foundation, Lena's Asian Kitchen, thank you so much for feeding all those hard workers, because most of them are volunteers, giving it
Yes.
unto themselves. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but here's the deal. And this is something that's going to bring us back to our conversation today, is even just giving a little, whether it's time, attention, whatever it might be, or for those that, have means to give funding to help fund and sustain it, that's all that really matters. So it's almost like all abilities is welcome. Like whatever your ability is to help, it's go for it kind of thing, right? And I guess that's just kind of like the way of feeding into why we're so passionate about our guest that's coming on. And I don't know if you want to shall we get on and get in and do our thing?
Let's get moving. Let's do that. I mean, like I said, it's for me, this is one of the most important episodes, just because of the magnitude of what we're discussing, and also how it impacts communities. And a community that sometimes has felt that it has not been seen. It feels sometimes that it's not heard. And, we're all about advocacy here. We're all about, no, we're going to talk about it. So let's talk about it.
Let's give them something to talk about. That's right.
You got the extra saucy Sia this morning, guys.
Well, what's even sadder is that, okay, A, you are a certain age if you knew that song. B, you're probably a certain age to think I was even on key anywhere in any of those notes. Or C, you're very forgiving, kind people, which, by the way, is probably the latter. So everyone, let us introduce our good friend, beautiful Ms. Michelle Colvard.
Welcome, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here this morning, taking time of your wonderful Saturday morning. However, we have such an amazing show and episode to talk about, especially something that is dear and near to our hearts. So welcome. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I'm excited to be here today. Got my coffee too. So
woohoo, coffee crew.
Yes, cheers.
Love it. And so, Michelle, for individuals who are not aware or may not be aware of the type of work that you do, just please tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive right into the amazing thing that all things, accessibility, mobility, and the expo.
Yeah, so my name is Michelle Colvard, and I'm a lifelong wheelchair user. I was born with spina bifida, and in my day job, I am a director of research administration for a major academic medical center. But I spend a lot of my volunteer time advocating for people with disabilities. I serve on several boards and commissions, or I have served on several boards of commissions over the years as an advocate, and worked on a lot of different nonprofit projects to, make our lives more inclusive, make it easier for us to join and be part of society.
I love that.
So it sounds like you work. It's like as if she works or something.
I stay pretty busy, but I love it. This is a, passion project. So, when you love it, it's not work. And I love what I do for a living. And I also love being able to be in a position to advocate for people with disabilities.
I love that. And what I mentioned briefly at the beginning, that it's because sometimes the community feels forgotten. The community feels that it doesn't get the recognition that it can get. And therefore, sometimes not all the resources. Having been in the home health industry for the last 20 years, I cannot tell you and share the different stories of individuals who feel like, well, I feel like we don't have resources. I feel like, they just forget about us. How can we get this? And not to mention language barriers, right? So that's a completely different part. So what have you seen as an advocate and leader in this in the industry, Michelle?
Well, first, I just want to take a moment to recognize the significance of today, because this is the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act today, July 26th, as when it was signed. Yes. And I mean, I just got to tell you, I'm a little older than y'all, But I vividly remember when this law passed, and I was, a kid. I was outside playing. My mom ran out to the backyard to tell me that basically my life would be forever changed, and she'd be, I'd be able to go to work. I could go to businesses. I could go shopping. All of these doors were now open to me. The world was more open to me. And even as a child, I didn't understand the policies, but I understood that something monumental had really happened, that there was a shift, and that the future I had was just suddenly bigger. And so it makes me like really emotional to think about, because there's probably an alternate universe out there, a different timeline where that law didn't pass. And in that world, I'm not working, I'm not successful, I'm not married to the love of my life, raising our daughter, I'm shut out of opportunities. And the ADA wasn't a magic wand. We still have far to go, but it was a foundation. And so for the first time in federal, with our federal law, people with disabilities had civil rights, and those rights open doors for me and for so many of us. So I really carry gratitude and also responsibility, of course, but I stand on the shoulder of other activists who fought for ramps and, dignity and jobs. And if you have a moment, it's maybe worth checking out the Capitol Crawl and learning about what that was. Are you familiar with it, the Capitol Crawl?
No,
Oh my goodness.
please enlighten us.
So, well, so there was a lot of, lobbying and advocacy leading up to the signing of that law, where people with disabilities were really pushing for it. And one of the things that they did is they protested outside of the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol, and they got out of their wheelchairs, they put down their walkers or their crutches, and they crawled up the steps to show the inaccessibility of federal buildings, for example, that they couldn't get into federal buildings. You couldn't get into a courthouse, you couldn't get into so many places. So it's really an amazing, you should check it out. The pictures and the video from that time was incredible.
Oh my God, that thing should be played on like repeat, because there's nothing more visceral than seeing.
Yeah.
So, okay, look, I will argue this, and I'm so glad that you're talking about this. Is, as able-bodied people, some are a-holes. Let's be honest. Some are just selfish a-holes. Don't give a rat's damn about no one else but themselves. But I think the majority are inherently good people. Which, by the way, I don't normally say that, but I do believe that we don't know what we don't know, right? And I think that awareness, that image is so impactful and powerful for people like me. I don't think twice. Like, if I'm going somewhere, I'm like, you just don't think twice about it. So I wish, I almost want to, Raquel, us on LinkedIn. That's a shareable post. Just saying.
Absolutely.
And Michelle,
absolutely.
just to clarify, like, that's like a post that I think would have high impact on LinkedIn.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Right, because it opens it up for a discussion, on the realities that the community faces, and we immediately think, right, in different able-bodied individuals, we immediately go to, okay, it's mobility mechanisms, but no, it really encompasses a lot of different individuals who experience different abilities, who are gifted in so many different ways that we may not understand, right, because we're not in that situation. However, we have family, we have friends, we have close individuals, acquaintances that we kind of understand their story, but we will never be able to fully grasp it. And the best thing that we can do is advocate side by side with them. And so that's why I'm very passionate. I am very passionate. And we have a group of phenomenal women who are very passionate as well, who are rallying right behind you, Michelle. And I remember, really quick to the audience, how do I know Michelle? I remember the first time I met her. I mean, we're both Houstonian. We're both here in Houston. And I had the opportunity to meet Michelle because our kids go to the same elementary school. I don't know if that's the case coming up next, but in the school year, but from the first time that I met you, Michelle, you struck me as such an individual, a superwoman, a hero, and just getting to dive deeper into why, it's an honorable thing. So it's an honor for us to listen to you and learn.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. What was that distinct moment? If you can go back to your long, stellar history of advocacy, where was that point for you where you said, no, I need to do something about it?
Oh my goodness. Well, this is another personal story, really. By the way, it's such a small world. Houston, right? It's a small, big town.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
So this was really a slow process for me to, reach a point where I realized I could be an advocate and maybe should be. I did not want to identify with having a disability as a child. So again, I grew up, I was born with spina bifida. I really felt like it was something I needed to hide. It was a bad thing. And of course, I can't visibly hide it. I mean, there are people with invisible disabilities, right? Lots of people but I had a visible disability. I was always on a walker, crutches, or wheelchair. I always needed some kind of assisted device, braces. It depended on which surgery I was in the middle of, and I spent a lot of time, almost all my summers were in the hospital, with having a different surgery. I didn't, and the schools really separated me. They separated me from my peers in a lot of ways. And so y'all can imagine like what that does to you, right? When you feel like segregated, really. And so I felt like it was a bad thing, really. And I got my undergrad, then I went to graduate school at the School of Public Health. And while I was at UT School of Public Health, I realized there were just so many missed opportunities to address the health and wellness of people with disabilities. There were just very few researchers working on this problem, but one was right here in Houston, and her name was Dr. Peg Nosek. And I cold called her, which is not my normal. I'm normally not so bold. Okay, right? But I cold called her, and we had just this amazing conversation, and I ended up asking for a job, and she ended up hiring me. Baylor College of Medicine, at the Center for Research on Women with Disabilities. And I was then exposed to this world of advocacy that I hadn't been involved in previously. And she became this enormous mentor to me. And I also, through her, met Kim King, who at the time was the mayor's office for people with disabilities, the director. And these two women really helped me realize my power. They both served as mentors. I got so much from them in different ways. Kim was just this masterful. She was really good with policy, and I really, I learned so much from her. And really, that's where it all started. I was appointed by Mayor White to serve on the Commission on Disabilities, and from there, then another commission, and then I proposed this idea to help improve health and wellness. And since that was my passion and what I was going to graduate school at the time, I literally took one of my school projects and activated it, and worked within the Commission on Disabilities. And we got the at the time the Parks and Recreation director to come talk to us, and so this is Joe Turner and Doug Earl. They were my heroes, by the way. They still are. And, we had this amazing partnership. We brought in other really amazing advocates like Peggy Turner, who's now over at TIER Rehab Hospital. So I've been lucky to be surrounded by a lot of amazing people that have also promoted my advocacy career, so to speak, and to help me realize I do have power. I should use it. And I'm really grateful to them.
Okay. Can I just tell you, there's so many great comments coming in right now, and I just want to acknowledge. We will say hello to all of you guys. Just keep chatting away. You guys are going a little too fast for me to try to catch up and comment back. But Michelle, what a freaking rock star you are, because you are exhibiting something that I think in general people don't do, which is ask for what you want. Make your, own kind of music. You know what I mean? Yes. And if you're a certain age, you know that damn lyric. I mean, amazing lyric. That song. But anyway, can I ask you this? Was it always in you, like, to be that level of confident to reach out and cold call, or was there a prompting? Was someone an inspiration to you to get there? Or do you think, nope, it was in my own belly and it just came out of my own noggin?
Oh, no, I grew up, I would say I was somewhat shy. I had a lot of self-confidence issues growing up. I think we all do. We all feel, I think if you don't in some way feel that you're what's the word? Oh, y'all help me out. That if you're a fraud or something like that, in a way.
Imposter syndrome.
If you don't have imposter syndrome, you're probably like an egomaniac. You probably. So I definitely had some challenges growing up with self-confidence, and I'm mostly past it, but every so often it still rears its head. the cold calling came out of just my blood was boiling that nobody was really looking at these issues. I'm going to be honest. It's sometimes that it lights a fire under you when you realize it. Uh,
Yep.
we have public health, and it was just not at all addressing this population. It's a vulnerable population, and in fact, it wasn't until November of 2023. I don't know, someone will fact check me, but that people with disabilities were designated as a population of, experiencing health disparities.
Mm-hmm.
That's how,
Yeah.
oh my God. So yeah, no, my that's really what prompted me to pick up the phone and make a call. And it's not my normal. I mean, I do now, I'm a different person now. I think that one phone call just led to so much, and led to a personality shift in me in a lot of ways.
To me, that is characteristics of a leader. These are characteristics of someone who is tired of how things are, right? And how they affect, and is tired of seeing how it affects the quality of life others have. And so thank you for being that voice and for having the courage to speak up, because I know a lot of people don't have that courage, or they have fear of getting any type of consequences for speaking up. But look, if I see someone that in my talent or my courage can help affect their quality of life for a better, you're darn right, I will speak up. I will definitely advocate, even if I'm not in the same situation. At the end of the day, we're all human. We all relate at the human level, and just knowing that I may have a family member, I may have a very close friend, or anyone around my circle of friends or community who are going through these things and is having issues accessing resources. Like, to me, that is no question, right? Go ahead.
And that's what I love about the Abilities Expo, because there's no place else like that expo. And I spend all throughout the year, I'm thinking, I can't wait till the next expo so I can see if this is available or somebody's got a solution for this. But there's also a lot of nonprofit agencies that have booths there where you can, identify different resources. This is really the only place that you can do this that I'm aware of, and it's just a sense of community. And what you're talking about is connection. It's, community. And that, like I said, I can't say that I got to where I am by myself, because I certainly didn't. It's a community and the support that I have around me that has led to where I am. And every time I go, I see a million people and have these really great conversations, and we end up coming up with some other plan to do something else, and all in the spirit of advocacy. Is really cool.
Yeah. So now that, we have the Abilities Expo, please, audience, if you don't know what the Abilities Expo is, they do go, there's like everywhere around the country, but this time around it's going to be in Houston. They just had one last month in Chicago, where Sia can actually, talk a little bit more about it. But they do have many throughout the year all over the United States. So Michelle, share a little bit of what the Abilities Expo is and what people can expect there, and why is it so important that we bring the community and raise awareness about it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So it's hard to explain, because it's almost like a one-stop shop for, anything that you could want to see or do. And I would say, the connections and the conversations, like I said, are incredible. The technology that's there. So what we have, cutting edge technology for just about any kind of issue that you might have in your life, as a person with a disability. And we're all different. Many of our needs are the same, but, I'm a problem solver at heart, because my dad was an engineer, so I was kind of hardwired to think like that. So I was always thinking of different ways to solve a problem related to my disability, whether it's something because I wanted to get into trouble and needed to figure out how to get up to the top of a closet to get into something that I shouldn't be getting into, or whatever. So at the expo, you have people who are like-minded, that are problem solvers, that think of ways to, different technology or different approaches, different resources, just whether it's mobility tools or something to help you be more independent in your home. And so the other thing that's there's a lot of different workshops, there's different shows. So we have workshops that are led by different, disability advocates, or adaptive sports. We have just dance performances. There's a rock climbing wall that's really fun and amazing. That they can pretty much get anybody up there to the top. It's pretty cool. So it's really a fun, joyful experience when I go every single time. And it really just it's a welcoming space too. So I think if you haven't been, you should go because it's a lot of fun.
Oh my God. Well, I know one person who has been, and she can definitely share a little bit more what her experience was. And obviously, from a vendor's point of view, however, we are storytellers, and in the work that we do, media, we storytell, and we love hearing the stories from all the individuals, all walks of life. So Sia, please tell us, how was Chicago's Abilities Expo? You're muted, love.
Dudes, and it's probably a good idea I mute myself because I was like, woo, yes. No, okay, so for those that do not know me, my background's in technology. So this is kind of like my first exposure in general to the healthcare side of life, right? Like I've never, again, as an able-bodied person, I just don't think about things. One of the biggest takeaways I got was the fact that all the attendees, everyone, they just, like humans, we just want to live with dignity. Right. We want to live with independence, that, as much as we possibly can be independent, and we just want to be heard. And Abilities Expo, every single person I talked to, and there were, I think it was, I can't remember the total number. It was thousands of people that came by our booth, and we just sat and listened. Just listen to what people are actually telling you, what they actually need, not what we think they need. Right. And it's such a gentle reminder to you guys. Abilities Expo isn't something where you're like, oh, do I need to give pity to these people? No, these people are living great lives. We're all living great lives. None of us are perfect. Trust me, there's a lot of flaws in all of us, right? But it's such a celebration. And I think that's what, to me, was a big takeaway that you don't realize you go into when you come into these types of events. And honestly, the amount of innovation, maybe because I'm a tech person, but man alive, the thoughtfulness of a lot of these products that are being shown at this expo can help so many. Or even if it's a niche type thing, it's hugely impactful for that small community for their needs. So I can't be more of a cheerleader than I am with Abilities Expo. And Michelle, I don't know if I'm misspeaking here, but I'm like a groupie now. So, they can't get rid of my, what I'm saying? Trust me, they tried. I'm like a gnat that just keeps kind of coming by. But yeah, no, I mean, I think with the Houston theme, which, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to throw this up here.
Go for it.
Which is, I just kind of want to talk about this one section here that I thought was, important to understand. So we have partnered. This is a AE Corner community. We partnered with Abilities Expo to create the Future Innovation Zone. And let me tell you, the idea around the Future Innovation Zone is we want to encourage all people to think about how to improve our lives. What does the future look like? Can we open up the doors of creativity in our brains and allow for us to imagine all the people?
I love it. Future Innovators Zone. Fizz. I love it. I love the concept, right? Just because we are in a world that is ever evolving with technology and innovation. And we sometimes feel like we're behind. And relatively speaking, as normal humans, the masses, we are behind, right? Because we're not leading the forefront in that. And, that empowers us even more to find other ways, to find other segments where technology can be of help for different able individuals in terms of accessibility as well. I know you wanted to say something, Michelle. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I just want to say this kind of goes back to what I was talking about too, innovation and problem solving. A lot of us, people with disabilities, are really, really good at problem solving and thinking of unique and creative ways to do something. And so this kind of highlights and I think speaks to that, and inspiration, that you get from coming to the Abilities Expo is really powerful.
One thing we don't talk about as much, and if I just don't mind shouting out, is what the caregivers, the family, the friends, the loved ones, professional caregivers. There is you know what's crazy, you guys? And let me just God, so many great comments, you guys. You guys are ADD, you're ADHDing me, people. I'm like totally distracted now. Is what I love is that a lot of families don't recognize they themselves are caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also high time for people to understand,
Yep.
if you are responsible for a loved one or someone that you know, a friend, a neighbor, accept that term that you're a caregiver. I don't know why we don't acknowledge it enough and appreciate all the hard work that you're doing. I think that's an unsung spoken thing too, that I'm sure, you know, we don't hear every day. A thank you.
Yeah, and we can be
Absolutely.
caregivers. We could ourselves have a disability and also be a caregiver for someone else with a disability, especially, with our sandwich generation. So,
Woo.
but
I'm right there with you, sister.
yes,
Right there.
yes. So, and I don't know if it's one of those things where, like I shared in the beginning, or I thought disability was something to be embarrassed about. Maybe caregivers. I don't know, but you're right. We don't celebrate the people in our lives that help and support.
Mm.
You know,
And now that we brought that up, that because this is a very important. I see it as educating, informing the masses, as they call us, the normal human beings, us, is accessibility, different ability. What does that mean? How can we start really changing the
Mhm.
connotation, that negativity that people sometimes attach to that? But for you, what does accessibility mean for you,
Oh my
Michelle?
gosh, yeah. Okay, well, so a lot to unpack there. One thing is, I use the term. I prefer people first language, people with disabilities, and it's out of that same civil rights capital crawl era, where a lot of people with disabilities were not recognized as people, humans living in society, and so that's where that comes from. There's
Mhm,
another
mhm.
way of using language that's more identity first focused, where you say disabled people, and either way. But my point is, I don't like to say differently abled or any of that, because it's a euphemism. And why? Because it's a bad thing to have a disability, but it's not. And so I prefer to think, it is the reality. It is the reality of my situation, and I do have a disability, and I don't have like different powers or abilities or anything like that. So I just think it's a very straightforward way of thinking about it. And to me, really, your
Mhm.
question about accessibility, it's more than just a legal term. I mean, it is a legal term, right, under the Americans with Disabilities Act,
Mhm.
but to me, it's about freedom, dignity, being able to be fully participatory in life. And so, ramps and parking spaces, all that matters, and that's important as part of our infrastructure. But what we're talking about really goes beyond those physical barriers or the physical accommodations. It's about, like, when I enter a room, can I contribute? Can I be seen? Can I hear? Can I have a seat at the table, or is it like a high table? you know, some of these conference rooms
I love how you frame
yeah,
that. I love how you reframe that, Michelle, because we often talk. I mean, Sia and I really honestly talk all the time about having a seat at the table. And if you don't have a seat at the table, you pull a chair up to
right,
that table and you
yeah,
have a seat. You don't have to ask permission. But now that you just reframed it, you're like, is it a high table? I
yeah,
love it. I love it because it's telling yourself is, yeah, they may not be a possibility there or a way there, but we will make it. We will make it our own way. We will find possibilities for us because we
right.
deserve the
That's
opportunity
right.
to be heard. And so for me, that's where I'm passionate. That's why I'm like, we're going to rally. We're going to, be seeing individuals from all walks of life, and just being able to relate to their stories. I keep mentioning storytelling just because it's so important. When I relate to an individual, when anyone relates to an individual, we, at the end of the day, we all have our story, and that is what makes us human. And when I listen to someone else, tell me, like your story, Michelle, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I cannot identify with that because I haven't lived that. However, just seeing the effort and the courage that's birthed out of that because of your situation, because of your lived experience, to me, that in itself it's an honor to just be able to talk to you and learn from you, from your expertise. And I know, this is going to be my first time at the Abilities Expo, but I'm so
You're gonna cry.
excited to be.
I know you.
I am going to be a crier. I mean, oh my
Michelle,
God.
she's gonna be in her feels, and she's gonna be like, "Oh my God, the potential, the love here! Oh my God!" She's gonna. I'm just. Hey, anyone online right now want to bet with me how long it's gonna take before she starts getting in her feels? I'm all for it, and any proceeds we'll just donate it. How about that, guys?
I love it. We'll take bets.
Well, I can definitely not be in my feels when I'm up there leading a panel, y'all.
You're gonna cry in that panel. I swear to freaking goodness gracious,
Oh my God.
you will. Do you want to talk about your panels real quick?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, sure, absolutely. So it's an honor again. Abilities Expo has given an invitation for us to come as Houstonians, as native Houstonians, and being able to represent the city and what the community, right? The abilities community, the different ability community means here in Houston. What are we doing towards working towards progress, future innovation? So that's why our zone is called Future Innovators Zone, because we are forward thinking and we are thinking of different ways that we can make lives live a better quality of life. So I am so excited to have been invited to lead a panel of amazing experts here in Houston. I will be leading a panel, English and then a Spanish one. So and this will be all on Friday. So if you guys, please make it out there so you can see what we're talking about and experience just the amazing things that you'll see there. But one of my panelists is Dee Neiman. She is the founder of Kids Robotic Academy. I'm so excited to have her there as well. She will be, all the Legos that you can think of. However, besides the Legos, just being able to have that sensory just aspect into everything that robotics and STEM and technology and everything that has. Another person, we will have Sarah Becerra, and she is a mentor for TechFest Live. So shout out. In absence of Mr. Khalil Vincent, the founder of TechFest Live, he'll be in China at a conference. So good luck with that. Our mentor, Sarah Becerra, is going to be filling for him. And then also we have Mr. Jesse Martinez. Is just an amazing individual. He's the founder of Invincible, and he's just in the tech world. Tech. I'm just excited to just have this amazing panel. Then I will have Mr. Javier Montiel and the Spanish. So it will be a one-on-one in Spanish. So apparently this is the first time that Abilities Expo is going to have that. So I'm so excited to be able to bring that a different flavor, sprinkle of flavor. And so all our talks are going to be towards the future, towards what can we do? How can we come together as a community? And what are we doing individually, but bringing it together? And then I will also have a separate talk on Sunday. So this will be just myself, and I am super excited, guys. All the information, you can find it online, Abilities Expo. I'll be posting more about it. Sia, did I miss anything?
No, in fact, you probably if you had a good producer, we would have had this written out already. So I was kind of typing in real time. So if you don't mind, just in the private chat, write out the other two guys, like their company name for me, because I'm like, I can't, I'm behind. So
because it's so many, but that speaks to what we're talking about, how when the community comes together, it really comes together and creates change. And again, we're super excited. We're bringing the bang and the boom and everything that we're doing here in Houston, because I feel like tech wise, Michelle, and if you can share as well, I hear that, we have all the talent here. We have so much talent, but if Houston for some reason it's not really considered, forward, or that we're right there as opposed to other places like, in Cali, or places like in New York. But I think we have all the talent in the world here in when it comes to tech.
Oh,
what have you
absolutely.
seen? Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, so there's so much. I mean, just from the humble cup holder on my wheelchair, to, this really cool state-of-the-art chair that I am rocking. I have a robotic arm on my car. And I was one of the first ones to have that, in the United States. It's popular elsewhere. So yeah, I think I was the first in Texas, maybe the second, but to have it. So.
Oh my
Yeah, I'm
gosh.
a big fan, and I mean, when you're in
Yeah.
a wheelchair, there's different kinds of wheelchairs. It's not all the same. So you can have power chairs, there's different, different heights and so forth. So, um, not, the wheelchair accessible vans that you know and love, right? That you've seen, but there's other different kinds of technologies in these vehicles. And the Abilities Expo has, a variety of these different technologies that you get to try out. It's like the only time that you can really ever do that too, by the way, let's see. I know in the past years they've had like a Ford Explorer, that was equipped and different things. So it's pretty cool. I don't know what's going to be there this time, but I'm excited to see. So
One of the big ones that I'm looking forward to, it's the
yeah.
wall, the climbing wall. Sia, I mean, you saw it live and in
Yeah.
person. What was I mean, just tell us about it. Share with us.
Look, again, it's such a validation, a celebration of, hey, come as you are,
Mhm.
and let's do the things that you want to do. And do things that you may not know or realize you want to do. And that rock climbing wall, can I just tell you, the amount of support there, the excitement, and a lot of these individuals, right, never thought they could climb a wall, right? And it was just really lovely to see. And no, I did not get to climb the wall. This fat, wasn't going nowhere after the first like pull, so that was one thing. But but no, seriously though, it was like constantly people were going up there of all abilities, by the way. It wasn't, it was really cool. And
Yeah.
it was just like, applause when someone, accomplished something they never thought they would. I mean, damn it, you guys. Now I'm getting my feels just thinking about it because it was really cool. Yeah.
Oh, you see, but you see, Sia does have a
No.
heart. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No.
I was just gonna say, I
Go ahead.
apologize. I'm so far behind on these comments. I am so trying to like keep up with you guys. So for those that like, I'm trying to acknowledge you by sharing the comments. This is Dave Stevens, you guys. It's LinkedIn user because your profile set to private, sir. We need to change that. But Dave Stevens is a on the spot correspondent for Abilities Expo. And if you guys want to meet like, honestly, like, I'm a groupie of Dave. He's hilarious. He's irreverent but he's awesome. And so you guys follow Dave Stevens on all the social media platforms. So Stevens with a V, by the way. So I just want to answer his question. Why are you never on the panels? It's because you're always in freaking camera. You're on camera all the time, dude. Anyway. I love you.
All right. You get enough airtime. Oh my God. No, but thank you for joining us. And this is such an important thing as adults. I sometimes think that we really miss out on the whole play aspect because we're adults. Adults are not allowed to play. But I'm like, no, we reinvent that definition of what play looks like. And so and I bring this up, Michelle, because you've been deeply involved in creating inclusive playgrounds in parks. But so why is play such an important part of the accessibility conversation?
Yeah, I mean, so as I mentioned, I was born with a disability. So I grew up as a child seeing all these inaccessible playgrounds and play spaces, and social skills are built on the playground, right? Lifelong appreciation of being physically active begins on the playground. And so I'm speaking as someone with the public health, background. And, I grew up with my disability trying to access playgrounds that weren't accessible. Like there would be curbs around the playground, or there would be the material would not like I couldn't get my wheelchair over like the gravel they used to have back then, or the wood chips even, when they're not properly maintained, they're real thick and it's hard to roll on those. And it sends a message to a child with a disability. And that message is, you don't belong here. You're not important. You're not even an afterthought. That play isn't important to you, that building a relationship with other kids is not important, doesn't matter, and that you don't have to be physically active. And it sets kids up to become adults that don't feel that they can fully participate in everyday life. So, I mean, it's incredibly important because it's how children learn about the world. And and how we bond with others. And excluding people with disabilities from play is just another way of excluding them from community life, and it's really harmful. So I feel really passionate, as you can tell, about this, and I'm really excited. I mean, Houston has so many inclusive playgrounds, because under the ADA, all playgrounds have to be legally accessible, but it's very, very limited what we're talking about. Okay, we're talking like, now you have to have a ramp to pass that curb to get into it. But then what? What do you do, right? What next? How can you, as a child with a mobility disability, access the playground? How about kids with sensory disabilities? You know, how do they interact with that playground? You know, a kid who's blind, you name it, right? And so it's really important. We call those inclusive playgrounds, or we say universal design playgrounds. There's different things that we say, because I don't think we've all settled on the right term for this. But you know, inclusive means that you're fully included in play in that structure. And so we have 7 within the Houston Parks and Recreation system now. And so I was there, you know, working with so Joe Turner. This was really his back when he was with the Parks Department. It was his really big project, and I was really fortunate to be there from the beginning, working, you know, hand in hand with them on it. And it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I love that, Michelle, just because sometimes we hear, like I said, that Houston lags a little bit when it comes to that tech innovation and tech progress. But I think that instead of looking at it that way, we reframe it and look at it like so much potential is there. And how can we get ourselves involved into that potentiality? And so just seeing you be, you know, stepping up to the plate and just being able to be a rock star and be a solid resource for individuals who may not know where to go, may not know where to start. It's very important. It's very important. Yeah. And I love to see that. So having said that, Sia, I don't know if you had a video to show us, something to give us a taste of what being at the Abilities Expo would be, that we can tell that it shouldn't, you know, that we can have the audience look at.
Why I'd be happy to share.
Yeah, I love that.
All right, let's do this.
Okay.
Oh wait, I have to hit play, don't I? Or do I? I don't know what I'm doing. Here we go, kid. Oh, you know what? I didn't put music set to this. This is like for us to keep talking about this. So I didn't put music just on purpose, because I figured while we're chatting it up, people can kind of get a visual of the things.
Oh my God,
and
yeah.
of all the things. And I get it. It's a little sped up, but that's because we have so much going on. Just want to talk about our community. It's Adaptive Equipment Corner Community, AE Corner Community. And so you'll see interspersed some of our products that you will see at the Houston Expo. So that was Dignity Bath. There's Easy Hold for those that do not have that gripping strength. It's a great, simple, easy tool. And basically just kind of, you slide your hand right into it, and you can use whatever tools that you want. It's rubbery, so it has flexibility, but it also comforts and wraps your hand. So, you know, just more footage of, you know, waving hello. Look at all the cars that are in there that shows you what's available. Right? I mean, and right there, that was like a shaking thing that you stand and vibrate. You know, there's like all the different vendors that you see. Again, adaptive equipment tools that, you know, that we'll be sharing. So here's another one. Here's mobility towel. It's a weighted towel. So for those that have maybe some shoulder pain, they have a strap. So you can dry yourself from behind. And because of that weight, it hugs your back. So again, we're talking about dignity and independence. Cloud care system. This is really cool. It's a bed sheet that's got that's sewn in spaces, so you could put those wedges in. So if you are, you know, bed bound, there's comfort, right? You can adjust it without having those pillows slide all over the place. And the material is designed to really be helpful for skin, which often gets worn thin. Over here is Versa Mobility, you guys. What that is literally a simple little tool here. That's Jackie, the founder and inventor, where you just clip it on. That's one of the solutions. And yeah, it's really cool. What that does, it protects your floors in the house from dirt as well as from scratching, and protects your property. Here is our founding influencers, Cindy and Christina. They are the founders of AE Corner, and so we're riding the coattails of their branding, but they do demonstrations and product reviews. They have over 104, 5,000 followers on subscribers on YouTube, millions and millions of views on TikTok, and basically they are PT and OT that share their reviews on adaptive equipment. But look at this, you guys. This expo isn't messing around. There are some real serious products, varying degrees of abilities, to check out. So here's another one of our community products is the AFO Assist. If you have drop foot, what this does, it helps you put your foot into a shoe, right? So for those that may or may not be able to have that, it is such a sleek tool. It's really hella cool. It probably would be better demonstrated against the wall. Unfortunately, we just didn't have that at the time. And okay, guys, raise your hand. I know you guys know this. If you need assistance in bathing, you want to maintain your dignity and not have your caregiver show and see all your, goods, right? So things like the wrap that you saw earlier and the Blue Hug is designed for that purpose. So there are slots on the side and zippers where you can bathe in comfort and dignity.
Goodness.
There's so much that we're bringing to the table that, you just want to make sure everyone understands. There's behind that actually is a podcaster that goes around the IATP community. I want to give them a shout out because they are Illinois. Illinois. Wait, Illinois is making noise. Woo-woo. Illinois is making noise.
There you go.
Abilities, another abilities community, and that's another revisit. By the way, all these little videos that you see in front, that you see the AEC corner with the backdrop, every single person that you saw was the actual inventor of the product. And that's one of the things that, bragging on AE Corner community is we're literally making that bridge and connection. Every single one of these inventors saw a need, saw the opportunity, and said, you know what? Just like you did, Michelle, I'm just going to go ahead and make it happen. I'm going to go ahead and call someone randomly. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and make a product. So we just saw Tausi with the comfort pillow, which I am using. So the pillowcase is, for back, shoulder, neck support. So
I didn't get one.
Yeah, I'll show it to you. And this is a crew. So these are like the founding members, and there's Chris, who's our MC in Chicago. I thought I would share that for you guys because we really firmly believe in what Abilities Expo is doing. You will see the AE Corner community booths, obviously at Houston, and we're working on Arizona. And you will see us at the big three next year for sure, which is New York, LA, and Chicago. So that was my little descriptor and hopefully hype to get everyone excited to go. This is more than just wheelchair parts. Not that it's not needed. It absolutely is. But there's so much more heart and there's so much to see and to meet. So
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Sia. Just because people, get a perspective, or sometimes we get the wrong image in our head to saying, well, that's not for me. That's for someone who may be different abled, or, it's on a wheelchair. And that is not the idea behind it. The idea is, as a community, how do we become informed? How do we become empowered to be a vessel that can be an advocate, that can become someone, who knows someone who can do something about it? Accessibility and having more resources for individuals. I'm all about, how do I get resources to people who actually need it? And if I can be that conduit, if I can be that bridge, then by all means, I will be. And, Michelle has been just such a phenomenal and stellar key figure in doing that here in our city. So, just what can you say people, what would you hope people will walk away with when they go to the Abilities Expo, Michelle?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I know I keep going back to this, but those conversations and connections that you get that you can't get anywhere else all in one space. I mean, obviously the technology is really super cool. It's incredible. And I always, explore all of those, but really what stays with you long after you leave the expo isn't just what you see, but it's who you meet and, those conversations that you have. And I definitely think it's just a really unique opportunity that we have to listen and learn and just get curious in this space. It's really welcoming for people of all different abilities. So
I love that. So I have a fun question for you because I am very curious and
Oh.
also as a fan. So can you tell us more about Miss Wheelchair America? Like
Oh,
moment?
I
What
you know
moment
what?
in your journey? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. I knew you looked familiar, Michelle, because okay, so I just started following Mrs. Wheelchair of America,
Uh-huh.
and I see all the great things going on. Oh my God, I swear, I
Yeah.
thought like I was gonna give you that corny line of like, I know I've seen you before in my dreams, but no, I really seen you before. Okay, sorry.
I love it. I'm impressed that you know about it. Yeah. So I started off as Miss Wheelchair Texas. I was encouraged to enter this. So y'all, I need to explain what this is. Okay,
Yes,
it is
yes,
not a beauty contest. Okay, it's really
But
not.
you are beautiful. You're
I,
all
I
beautiful.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But no, thankfully didn't have to wear a swimsuit and all that. I didn't have to do that. But we do dress up in evening gowns because it's just a really fun thing to do. Everybody loves a good party. But it's a platform to be an advocate. It is one of the earlier things that I did in my career as an advocate. I mean, I had already had a lot of experience under my belt by then, but it really opened it up, to advocating throughout the state and educating. I got to speak about a lot of different topics, and try to work on different initiatives, as a state representative, basically, of people with all disabilities, not just wheelchair users. Really important. I feel very passionate about that. I can't speak for people with other disabilities, but I can advocate as well, and bring some of those shared experiences forward as well. Anyway, so at the state level, you're expected to participate in the National Miss Wheelchair America competition, and I did, and I won. I could not believe it. But I got to travel all over the United States and speak about, do a lot of really cool, fun things. I mean, I went all sorts of places. I went from San Diego to South Dakota, Florida, Virginia. I mean, I was just all over the place. So it was a lot of fun. But for first and foremost, it is an advocacy platform. So
I love that. Well, it's very fitting for you. So, but it's just knowing the power behind that and knowing that it is a responsibility. And how are we using that responsibility as leaders in order to encourage and inspire future generations? One of the main things for me and my platform is how do I bring in leaders cross industries, cross collaborations. I'm a firm believer of a connection, and just being able to collaborate with so many different leaders in the city. So how do we bring together that community that will be a solid launching pad for someone else, right? Or a platform for someone else who brings in the next innovative idea, and always looking for those brilliant folks. Just because they're everywhere, it's just that sometimes we don't see them. But
yeah.
you can get to see many of those brilliant inventors here at Abilities Expo this coming weekend. I am so excited. Again, guys, I'm just telling you, if you don't know, if you're in the Houston area, please come. It is completely free. It's free to go in. That's like the best part of it.
I don't know why I didn't start there. I don't. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's totally free. It's a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, the networking. I'm with you. It's those collaborations, those sparks. When you meet people and you get. It's incredible. I can't tell you how many really cool ideas or initiatives have been born out of the Abilities Expo and in the advocacy space. So
Yes. I mean, one last plea for the audience: if you are not doing anything next weekend, it is August 1st to the 3rd. It is 3 days, guys. It's not, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You will have a world of an amazing fun and education, just because you'll be able to learn so much through the stories, right? We have so many individuals helping us there, joining, and just giving us a glimpse of what an adaptive world looks like. And remember, if you're an inventor, you might walk away with an idea, and then you can join us. So join us next Friday. Sia, you like to say something?
No, join us as in like, hey, if you are a product innovator, like AE Corner community is looking for you. As a community, we're exclusive to the adaptive equipment space, which is a subset of the assisted assistive technology space. So if you are not familiar with that, there is a subtle difference between it. But guys, we're always looking for people to be part of our community. We all believe in all ships rising with the tide. That's the way I say it. All ships, boats rise, and water goes up and everyone goes up with it, whatever that saying is.
Yes.
I swear to God, English literally is my first language, but it doesn't come out that way. But no, you guys, I cannot begin to tell you how exciting it is to see just the positive vibes. And if you guys are looking at the comments, and I apologize, I couldn't grab everybody, there. So you guys check it out in the comments, either on YouTube and or on LinkedIn. I think I ran this stream on Facebook as well. Please do. There's so many amazing, cool people. Hey, for those who are on LinkedIn, connect with all the people that are commenting. These are people in your tribe. I assure you, every single one of those persons that I saw, I feel nothing but positive vibes with. So by all means, you guys connect with them, because I think there's some great opportunity for future collaboration as well. Like Nicole, I see you. You need to get Michelle on your shows, girl. So
Yes,
I don't have much to say, because I know we're at the top of the hour, beautiful.
Yes.
So you guys will see you next week.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we are at the top of the hour. We can continue this conversation hours and hours and hours. And Michelle, you've been amazing and so much fun. Thank you so much for being here. Are there any parting words you'd like to share with the audience?
Just that I hope with this conversation, everybody, whether you attend the Abilities Expo, just listen to this podcast, really, this is about being more empowered to be part of a more accessible world, because it's not a checklist. Accessibility is not just something you check off. It's a mindset. And the Abilities Expo, you really see helps you see what's possible. So anyway, I hope you come. It's a lot of fun. I would love to meet you. And Raquel, thank you so much. And Saya, thank you so much for having me. It's been a lot of fun to be with you over coffee this morning. So happy Saturday.
Yeah, no, the honor is ours. And thank you again. And I cannot wait to see you again and hug you again. And, just learn together and advocate together. So without further ado, let's say goodbye with our amazing sponsor who will be there at the Abilities Expo. So guys, one last time, next weekend, August 1st to the 3rd, be at Energy Stadium, please. We would love to see you. Come say hi. These are the booths number. And we also have this information online, but just come experience a different world and be an advocate, become an advocate with us, and we're all passionate about it. So without anything else here, well, let's go ahead and say thank you to our sponsor, one of our sponsors for the episode, and we'll see ya next week. Yeah.
See ya. Thank you. And by the way, you will see Telsey in Houston. All right, guys. See ya.
All right.
Falling asleep with your neck in the wrong position can be a real pain in the neck. Literally. People of all ages are falling for Telsey. Telsey gives you the comfort you've always dreamed of. Go to TelseyBrands.com and get your comfort on.
Thank you for joining. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe and follow us for the next episode.